Some apps to help you learn to meditate.
I'm going to show you how to return to the sky.
And Pokémon GO has a tournament?
It's a tournament! Time to play iOS Today.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
iOS Today is brought to you by Aftershok's unbelievably comfortable open-ear headphones. Hear music and crystal-clear phone calls like never before. Visit iostoday.aftershoks.com and use the code iOS Today for $50 off the tech bundle. And by Crest. The Crest 3D whitening kit removes over 10 years of tough, set-in stains to give you noticeably whiter teeth. 100% guaranteed. For $20 off your first Crest 3D whitening strip kit, go to crestwhitesmile.com and enter the promo code iOS Today at checkout.
I'm going to bring my drum set.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's our drummer in studio with us today. It's so great to have Mikah Sargent here. Actually, you've been here. I just came back from vacation.
Yeah, you went south, yes?
Yes, I went south as birds do.
As you and birds
as
often
one
do.
does for the winter. We went down to Universal Studios. We brought this is a crazy thing, but 4 16-year-olds, our son Michael is 16, and his three buddies, to go to the beach, to go to Universal Studios. It was really fun to ride. You know, though, I have to say, there's one thing that I have to say that I'm not thrilled about in the world. And you really see it. I saw it first in Santa Monica a few years ago when the Bird scooters arrived. Now there's Bird, Lime, Wheels, Jump. There's it's an unlimited. It's capitalism on display. Yeah. And you cannot walk 5 feet without tripping over a scooter, an electric bike. They have these little ones called Wheels. They're really cute. It's litter now. It's everywhere. Have you been anywhere where you've seen that? It's terrible.
So I haven't seen the multiple companies, but even with like one company in a city, they're everywhere. Yeah. So I can't imagine having 4 or 5 companies all trying to offer the transportation.
It's a mess. And the people who ride them just leave them. So now there's a towing company in LA.
Oh my God!
That if you're a property owner and there's a scooter on your property, you call them and they come and they impound it. And
can you imagine?
And Lime is suing them, saying you can't do that.
I need to come get my scooter.
Yes, we can, and it's really out of control. The only thing the city fathers of Venice Beach have done to limit this is they've required these companies have geofencing. So if you get close to the ocean, they just stop working.
Oh, my gosh.
Which means, of course, what do? When something stops working?
You leave it.
You leave it. You hop off.
You walk back and go find another scooter.
So now there's this kind of escalating thing. So now it says, don't leave it here. You'll be fine.
Oh, my goodness.
So what do? You ride it just outside the edge.
Yes.
And leave it
there.
So if you're ever looking for a scooter in Santa Monica or Venice Beach, go right to the border of the ocean. And there's heaps of them, piles of them piled up. It's the worst.
Oh, that's not great.
This is an example. Because we love technology. That's why we do this. We love technology. We're excited by what technology can bring. And at first when they said, this is going to be really cool, you just take out your phone, tap the scooter, and you can ride it, and then you leave it when you're done. And, that sounds great. That's a new way of mobility in the city. But talk about unintended consequences.
Right. Yeah. And I think that we saw that, at first with Uber and Lyft, with all the different ride-sharing apps, not leaving piles next to oceans, but that there were some things that we didn't expect that were going to happen. And we had to come up with rules and things like that for this. But I don't know if it seems very rough and tumble, this like scooter.
It's this new capitalism. It's the new world of capitalism. But it is actually a great parable for what we have to do. We can't say no technology.
Right.
And that's what we're kind of going through in this country right now in terms of social media and Facebook and Twitter and all. We can't say break them up, get rid of them, shut them down. You need to regulate it.
Exactly.
Because there is a value to it, but we need to figure out a way to make it so that it doesn't trash society at the same time.
Because then it's doing the opposite kind of its goal in the first place. This was supposed to make it easier for people to get around and maybe not spend as much money as they would if they got a ride-sharing app. But there's the happy medium, and we need to get to it, and not leaving your scooters in the median. So
It's
let's
the parable of the scooter.
I like
Yes,
it. A new book by Leo Laporte.
I shall write a new book. Today we're going to help you relax, calm down. You know, this was inspired by our sponsor, Calm.com. But there are many ways you can use your device, your iPhone, your iPad, I suppose your Apple TV, although I didn't look.
Yeah.
And even your Apple Watch
for focus,
de-stress.
for calm, for sleep,
Yeah.
for the whole kit and caboodle.
You're going to Buddhify me.
I am gonna Buddhify you. Buddhify happens to be my favorite app to use for calm, and that is because it offers so many different options depending on what you're wanting to do. So it asks you up front what's happening, and you can choose along this sort of color wheel here different activities that you might have. So, hey, I'm just waking up. Hey, I can't sleep. Hey, this is a work break that I'm having. So let's choose.
Oh, so you can have a short little thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Nice.
choose work break. And you see whenever I tap on that, it pops up all these different options. So there are different ones, and they tell you how long they last.
Are they music? Is it voice?
It's
What is
voice. It's voice. So should I unplug and plug this into here?
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, no, that's
That won't
USB-C.
work.
So
Yeah.
here, I'm going to bring it up.
Turn it up really, really, really loud.
From having to be productive.
Oh.
Being constantly productive is tiring stuff.
It is, man. Let me tell you.
All of which means that our minds rarely get a chance to really rest. So in this meditation, that's what we're going to do.
You know what's funny is how you develop a bond with the person leading those, don't
Yeah.
you? For a long time, I used Headspace and Andy Puddicombe and his kind of British accent, and I got a bond. Now I'm a Tamara Levitt fan. She's the Calm meditation training, primary trainer. And it's really funny how they become part of your life.
It's almost like a second little voice in your head.
But I think it's also, part of the training. It triggers you. When you hear his voice, you start to breathe,
Exactly.
you calm down.
Now this one, it does have different voices depending on what
good. I like that,
what it
'cause
is.
Sometimes I don't like the voice and I want to change it.
Exactly. So it will show you, if you hold down, you can learn about any of them. So for example, with network, it says workplaces are always better when there is more kindness, good for you and good for others. And so it talks about sort of networking
Kindness
and how
is
that
good.
can help you.
Yeah.
Yes. And kindness is always good.
Yeah.
So then let me go back to the main screen again, just to show you some of the types of features that they have here. So these are the membership features that you can use. And honestly, the thing that I like about Buddhify is the fact that you get so much out of the app without ever having to dig into those membership fees. So it does come with a...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it is. I think I have it down. It's $4.99 if I'm not mistaken. But there are so many different pre-recorded options that are available here. And I used to use this to fall asleep all the time. It was very helpful for that. But whether you are, learning how to meditate, whether you are actually in the middle of kind of hanging out with somebody, there are ones that you can listen to while you work. And that's a rare thing I find, that you can sort of be able to find the right thing where you're not falling asleep or something like that.
Well, I'd be careful mixing your meditation with your sleep app, because you don't... It's hard enough to meditate without falling asleep. So I'm thinking you don't want to condition your body to, oh yeah, when I hear this, I sleep.
Yes, that's true. That's a good point.
So let me give you a sleep app.
All right.
That is just for sleep. The funny thing is, this may be the oldest of all of the apps we're going to talk about today. We talked about this. This predates iPad, iOS, predates smartphones. We talked about this
Predates the wheel.
on the old screensavers. So Pizziz is all about, I think, a really clever thing, which is napping.
Okay. Oh.
And the
yes.
I mean, you can do it for sleep. Lisa does it for both. But the problem with a nap is if you nap too long, the day's shot.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you go to bed, and I have a friend who says you can't take a nap unless you actually get under the covers. It doesn't count. But if you, I don't know if I agree with that. In fact, I can nap anywhere. But if you go to bed and you go to sleep and you don't get awakened in half an hour, you're groggy for the rest of the day. Right.
I'm notorious for, I'm taking a nap and then I wake up the next morning.
So that's what's great about Pizziz, It's the club nap, as you kids call it today.
Apparently.
Research shows that a 20 to 30 minute nap is all you need. You don't want more than that in the middle of the day. You set this. This is Piziz. You set this 20. Wake me after 20 minutes. You can set it to longer. I personally am a fan of the 30-minute nap. You can say don't wake me, but I think it's good to get woken up, and it does, by the way, wake you. And we'll skip ahead to the wake up part.
This is your time.
Oh, so it plays.
Oh, they got a new voice in here.
Finding a position that is easy.
So when this came out 20 or 30 years ago, no, it's probably almost 20 years old now. It was based on something called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Remember that?
Yeah.
The idea was,
I can like touch on your shoulder and say a thing to you.
while you're sleeping, it will give you affirmations. You're going to wake up and you're going to feel good. You're going to be able to take on the day, that kind of thing. And the idea was your subconscious mind would absorb these. And so you'd wait. It's more than just putting you to sleep or timing your nap, but it actually is giving you some suggestions. Let me see if I
Can I really quick? Someone in the chat said, "Is this a sleep app from Snoop Dogg?" And I couldn't let that go past. Piziz, the sleep app from Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I never thought of that. This app is sold. It predates Snoop Dogg. That's how old it is.
There aren't many things that predate Snoop Dogg.
Dogg's
So wow,
copying Piziz.
must have been where he got his whole
It was a
thing.
German company that came up with this.
Oh,
and
that's German.
For a long time it was free, and I never could understand it. Now I see that they are charging, which is fine. You can set an alarm and have it wake you up. When it wakes you up, it wakes you up. So first it will say, okay. The guy will say, okay, it's time to get up. And it goes through, I think, a really excellent relaxation ritual where you slowly relax the different parts of your body and all this stuff. And it really does, because napping is hard for a lot of people. You know, I'm jangled. I've been having coffee. And so it goes through a relaxation ritual. And then at the end of it, at the end of the 20 or the 30 minutes, it'll say, okay, it's time to wake up and face the day. And eventually, it slowly tries to bring you out of it. But if you don't wake up, eventually it plays an extremely loud, annoying
wow.
So it will wake you up. But I think that's a good thing. This is the kind of thing that you could do. I know we used to have somebody at Tech TV who made a nest under his desk. You know, he had one of those desks with a modesty panel so he could get under it and no one would see him. And he made a little nest under there.
That's
and
nice.
he would go to bed, after lunch, he'd take a half-hour nap. And I think actually I encourage all our employees to do that.
Well, so it's scientifically, proven that, it's been studied. You drink a cup of coffee and you take a 30-minute nap. And because of the half-life of caffeine and how long it takes for your system to process it, that's the perfect thing, because at the end of that 30 minutes, that's when the caffeine is typically kicking in.
Oh, that's
and of course, it
interesting.
depends a little bit on your body chemistry.
Yeah, be careful, because you don't want it to kick in the middle
You don't want it
of
to
your
kick
nap.
in, right before your nap starts. But if you do that, you wake up not only feeling refreshed because it's right at the end of a cycle, but also because the caffeine's kicking in at the same time. And so you've essentially, the problem with drinking caffeine and not taking a nap is that caffeine attaches to these little sensors in your brain that are looking for a chemical that says you're sleepy. And so if you don't get any sleep, it doesn't clear out that chemical. And so essentially that chemical doubles up. So when the caffeine stops working, those sensors go, holy moly, there's so much of this chemical in my brain right now. I'm super sleepy. So that's why you crash after caffeine. But if you take a nap, then it washes away essentially some of that chemical. And then the caffeine kicks in and you're not going to have that crash later on.
If you want to do it that way, go ahead. I prefer Piziz. J.K. Rowling. Now, I don't know if these are made up. In the app, it says, I love Piziz. Best I've used by a mile. His Royal Highness, the Duke of York. Now I think they are making this up. Let me tell you, if you have trouble sleeping, try it, because it really works. This is the
There
only...
aren't any asterisks or anything to be like, we're just kidding.
No. Roy Hibbert, NBA star, speaking to Sports Illustrated. So anyway, this is the only disappointment. I've used this for years for free. Never paid a penny.
Oh.
And they now they only offer a 7-day free trial. So try it. And I'm disappointed to see this now $70 a year, which I think is too much.
That's a lot.
To be honest. for this app. So I'm not retracting my recommendation. I do really like the idea, and you see I have it on my phone because that's honestly the most sensible place to have it. And Lisa uses it like crazy all the time. She doesn't take naps anymore. She takes it as is. So, but I am disappointed to see that they've raised the price of this. So maybe, we have, as I said, Calm.com offers sleep stuff. There are other people who offer it for less. So maybe it's time to shop around. But boy, Paziz has been my constant companion for more than a decade.
Well, speaking of sleep here, I want to talk about an app called Pillow. Pillow is my sleep tracking app because of the way that it pairs with my Apple Watch. So there are two different modes with Pillow. Pillow allows you to use sort of an yes, I'm going to sleep right now feature. And when you do that, it has a smart alarm. And there are a few apps that offer smart alarms, but I think smart alarms are incredible. So I used to do a podcast about sleep and understanding sleep cycles and things like that. And so
really? Oh, this is right up your alley.
This is perfect. So
I didn't know. No, now when you're talking that research, I'm going to
on
listen.
caffeine and now you know. So yeah, the things I said about caffeine earlier were true. I've done the research.
Oh, now I believe you.
Yes. So
we did a podcast.
So with Pillow, this app is very interesting because what it does is it analyzes your sleep cycle and it uses that to determine when is the right time to wake you up. So it doesn't just say, okay, the average person after 30 minutes, they've hit stage 1, stage 2, stage 3
you
of
want to know
sleep.
that you got what you needed.
Yes, exactly. Because we all exist in those separate stages a little bit differently. And the best way to track that is actually if you don't have the full cap on that's doing the whatever the brain thing is your heart rate. Your heart rate is a good determiner for what stage of sleep you're in. And so this app pairs with the Apple Watch and uses that to help figure out, okay, this person has had a full
So you have
cycle
to wear
of
your
sleep.
watch, though.
If you want to use it this way.
Yeah.
You can also use it without your Apple Watch. You turn it on your phone and you set your phone down next to your pillow.
Oh, okay.
And it will use the accelerometer and things inside of here to determine what stages of sleep you're on based on sort of your movement, and it tries to determine breathing and things like that. It's not as accurate, of course, in that sense. But with this, then, it can say, okay, Mike has had stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 2, stage 1, because that's how we go
Right.
down and then we go back up again. And then after about one and another cycle, then we hit REM sleep. And a lot of people think REM sleep is the deepest stage. It's actually the lightest
That's
stage.
your dreaming.
Yeah, our brain is the most active during that stage. Right. And so it can say, okay, he's had that sleep, because the worst possible thing for you if you are taking a nap is to be woken up in stage 3 of sleep. You'll wake up and feel so out of it, so tired, so sleepy. You want to get woken up in those lighter stages of sleep.
Yeah.
And so Pillow does a good job of that.
Do you use an alarm clock? See, this is a luxury. I don't like alarms, so I don't use them, as you might have noticed.
So that's why.
No, I'm not showing anything right now. I don't use alarms. But if I were to use an alarm, I would use an alarm that would notice where you are and only wake you up when you're in a lighter sleep,
That's
not
what
in
Pillow
your deep
does.
sleep. Yeah. See, that I think is a really good idea.
Yeah, and just a quick note on this is, even if you don't use the alarm feature, this app is fantastic for tracking your sleep and giving you some impressions for how well you're sleeping. And so it can tell you your sleep quality. It'll show you the different stages of sleep that you hit. And if you don't use the Apple Watch version, if you say, okay, I'm going to sleep now, then it'll also let you do audio tracking. And so it can determine, hey, you woke up in the middle of the night. Here's what it sounded like. That's good for folks who are concerned that they could have something like sleep apnea, sleep terror, those kinds of things. This app is good for that.
I'm going to show you. So my problem, I don't want to wear the watch. And I've tried putting the phone next to my pillow, but it tends to get knocked out of the bed and things like that. So and remember, we had a sponsor, and I thought these were great too. The rings that you wear, and I think that's a great activity tracker, and it will also do sleep. The ring is maybe the best solution because that ring knows your body temperature as well as your heart rate. Okay. It's a better way to track the heart rate is on the finger, where there's actually veins there that can monitor it, as opposed to your wrist, which is a little harder to do well. So the ring, I thought, the Oura, and I highly recommend that. I really like the Oura ring. They were sponsored for a long time. I don't know if they are anymore, but still love the Oura ring. But even a ring, I don't want to wear. When I go to bed, I don't want anything between me and my sheets.
Oh God, here we go. Top sheet again.
Except for my English leather. No. So now you don't remember that. See, he's too young. He doesn't know.
Oh, that was a reference?
It was a reference.
Sorry.
In fact, now that I think about it, if you don't know what I meant by that, that sounded really weird.
Uh-huh. I just thought it was really weird. I didn't know it was a reference.
It's a cologne. It was an ad. Nothing. Anyway. I'm sorry I brought it up. So there is a device. There are a number of devices that you can put in between your mattress and your bed spring or under your mattress that will do the same kind of monitoring, but without impeding your sleep in any way. In fact, one of the things I've seen a number of articles of late that people who use sleep trackers sleep terribly because they're all like, there's like anxiety.
Right. Am I doing it right?
I gotta have my watch on or my thing on. So I want something completely unobtrusive. This was a device, it's about $60. It's called Sleep Tracker. It's sold by, believe it or not, the Beautyrest folks. And it's a little paddle that goes underneath your mattress and records exactly what you were talking about. Now, as you can see, last night I had a sleep score of 49 out of 100. But you see, it's tracking my REM sleep. I can actually get the graphs here.
I want this already.
Tilt the phone for a larger sleep. Well,
I'm a
it's
big
not a
nerd
phone,
about all the data.
So look at this data. So I could see how many times I got up. That's me getting up, that little thing.
Oh, my.
I'm an old man. You'll understand. This is the red thing is my my heart rate, and so you could see what your resting heart rate is, and you see it dips below 60 sometimes. Stays pretty low. It's higher when I went to bed, as it would make sense. This is my breath rate. So this paddle, even though it is under your mattress, but you put it right under where your pillow would be, gives you a lot of information. This is the most important metric, of course, that not only the total sleep, but as you pointed out, the amount of deep sleep. And actually an hour of deep sleep is not bad. It's 13 minutes more than I had last night, but it was, the light sleep. Okay. So you could see that's where I suffered, was light sleep. I didn't get as much light sleep. Dreaming sleep, the REM sleep, was also down. So you could see comparisons to previous nights. You could see when you went to sleep, what time. That's fairly important, and you're getting an analysis comparing it to previous nights, which is, I think, important.
I need this.
Yeah, this is really great. And it's only $60. It goes under your bed. You can see your sleep schedule. So one of the things, as you know, sleep experts say, is try to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. And so you can see how well you've been adhering to that. And it also has a coach. So the coach will say things like, you got 8 minutes more deep sleep than people similar to you. I don't know what similar to me means. Podcast hosts? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Continue to lie in bed after you wake in the morning can make you feel sluggish and lethargic. Can make it hard to pronounce words like sluggish and lethargic. So this gives you a lot of information.
Oh, cool.
It's really, I think this is a great little app. Then you can also add notes. So did I exercise yesterday? Yes, vigorously. Did I snack? Before bedtime. That's another thing, right?
Yes.
Snacking before bedtime. I don't think so. No, I don't believe I did. Was my day stressful? No, I'm smiling. So did I consume caffeine? Oh, baby. Yes, I did. Did I watch TV or use a mobile device before bed? Now, this is not judging you.
No.
But it is going to give you some idea.
I'm not judging you, but
you're
I'm
judging you. Did you feel pain while you were in bed?
I just saw you said no to the alcohol. A lot of people don't know that, but that is so important, not to drink alcohol before you go to bed.
Yes.
Because it helps you get to sleep. It does not help you stay asleep.
My life philosophy is say no to the alcohol, but say yes to the dress. I don't know why, but that's my life philosophy.
I love it. Say yes to the dress.
Do you have pets in the bed at any time during the night? I know Mikah's saying
I feel judged.
Chihuahuas. And then the bedroom temperature, we know it's better if you sleep a little cool.
67 degrees is what it should be.
Yeah, so you're an expert on all this, and you can put some notes in. And then this is going to log this, and you're going to have all of this as behavioral insights. Now, I should tell you a little bit about this story, because I found out about this when we interviewed a guy named Philippe Kahn, who's legendary in the computer industry. He created Turbo Pascal. He was responsible, which became Delphi. He was responsible for some of the most important innovations in the early computer era. But he also is the guy who invented the camera phone. He was having a baby. As often as the case, the father has very little to do when he wasn't having the baby. His wife was having a baby. And so he managed his anxiety by running out to his car, getting his soldering iron and some hardware and putting together a way, because he said, I want to upload a picture from I have a camera on my phone, but I have no way of sharing that. And he actually built the first camera phone while his daughter was being born.
Wow.
Later patented it and has made it ever since. And in fact, Philippe Kahn's Motion X chips are in almost all your modern smartphones.
Amazing.
He also patented the accelerometers that are used in your smartwatches, in your Fitbit. This guy is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And so one of the things his company Motion X did is created this sleep tracker. And he said, for me, the most important thing is we're getting millions of people using this, and we're getting the data so that we can get better and better at making sleep recommendations. So that may make you nervous, I don't know, but that is the kind of information you're giving them. So I
What's that
warn you.
called? What's this?
There's my interview with Philippe Kahn. It was Triangulation, episode 318 in 2017, and I've been using the sleep tracker ever since. It's called Sleep Tracker, and having all that information, I don't normally do it on my iPad. Having all that information, and your sleep report, they'll email you a sleep report, is fantastic. So highly recommend this. I think it's a really great way of. Now, I have to mention that there is some evidence that knowing all this, tracking all this, makes you sleep poorer, more poorly, because you get nervous about this. So you think about it. There is a white noise generator in here, which might help you sleep, but I've got a better way to do this. It has a sleep cycle alarm. So
there it is.
Yeah. So it'll
important.
wake you up at the right point in the sleep cycle. You can set some sleep goals as well. And you can see I have set goal to get to bed by 7 and up, bed by 10 and up by 7. And so I do get a bedtime reminder on my phone at 9:30 at night saying, okay, get ready for bed, start to wind down. It has an Amazon Echo interface, so you can actually ask, and again, I'm not sure I recommend this because it just adds to your overall sleep anxiety. You could say, Echo, ask Sleep Tracker how I slept last night.
You wake up first thing.
It will tell you,
sleep?
how did I sleep? So I try not to look at this all the time. But the nice thing about it, because it's just in there under my bed, it does record it every single day. So it's not an issue. You know, you can see when I'm on vacation. There's the week I didn't have it, but it's not an issue for me to think about it. I just don't think about it. I let it record. And if something happens where I feel like I'm not getting great sleep, I can go back and I can say, oh yeah, I noticed that. The one thing I like about the Oura Ring that adds to this is the temperature, the body temperature. You get all the same kind of information, but your body temperature tells you a lot. A slight fluctuation in body temperature, if it goes up a little bit, it can indicate illness or stress. So I'm a fan of the kind of tracking yourself. And this is all the rage nowadays, but I also am a little bit cautious about it because, for instance, now that I know I'm only 49 out of 100 on my sleep score today.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be groggy as heck. If I had known that.
Like placebo almost.
Yeah.
But I think, so for me, because I agree, I think that it all depends on how you sort of process the data and if you're susceptible to being, upset or affected by it. Because for me, I get frustrated when I don't understand why I am feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
And to have that and go, okay, suddenly this makes sense. And then over time, it starts to give me options.
Some insights are good.
Yes. Yeah. I agree, though. If you get obsessed with it, it's probably not for you. But I love to be able to sleep track. I want to mention there's a book called Dreamland by David K. Randall. So it's called The Adventures in the Strange Science of Sleep. And David K. Randall, he was a doctor who became a journalist, and he was having he would wake up and he would sleepwalk, and he almost died sleepwalking.
Wow.
And at that point he realized he needed to get it figured out, and he started to learn how wild the whole science of sleep is. Sleep is so important, and I know people say that a lot, and you hear that a lot, but there is there's so much out there to learn about how important sleep is and what effect it has on the body when we don't get enough sleep. I really recommend reading that book because I think that it can encourage you to be more aware of the sleep or lack of sleep that you're getting and really push for improving those things. And that's kind of why, with meditation, with those kinds of things, that's what this episode specifically is about, is reducing stress and anxiety, which helps you sleep more, which makes you a healthier, more productive human.
Don't be anxious about your sleep, though.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
This is another, as long as we're doing competing book recommendations.
Whose is better?
This is, I would read both because I know Dreamland and it's an excellent book.
Yeah.
This is by an actual sleep scientist, Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. This is a good book for the latest current research about what that deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep mean, we're starting to learn, for instance, that deep sleep cleans out garbage in your brain cells, that there are free radicals and detritus that you accumulate through the day in your brain.
It's the restorative stage
and
of sleep.
And it's really important to get that deep sleep to clean out your brain. So,
and as we get older, we get less of that last stage of that final stage of sleep.
The author, Matthew Walker, is the director of the University of California, Berkeley Sleep Center. So he is really up on the latest sleep information. This is an excellent.
And only for $11.55, that's well worth the purchase, I think.
Yes, that's my bedtime. Here's a question. We put you up when you came out to visit in the lovely, beautiful Petaluma Hotel. Guests of iOS Today stay at the Petaluma Hotel in downtown Petaluma. Except, I hear it was a little noisy.
Yeah. They have single pane windows. Double pane windows.
And you're downtown. You're in the heart of the city.
And there was a wedding when I arrived. So then they're playing Mr. Bombastic, blah, blah, blah.
All night.
Yeah. And it's like, oh,
you
golly.
need this. This is called
dishwasher rinsing.
Dishwasher. Well, maybe not. Might not need that. This is called White Noise. This is a great app I've used also for years because you know that having sounds playing, and by the way, the iPad has an excellent speaker. You don't need an external speaker.
Absolutely.
I do bring an external speaker with me when I travel, a small pocket speaker. But even if you don't, sometimes having some background sounds can help you.
Oh, is that? Oh, wow.
That's a grandfather clock.
I used to fall asleep with one of those.
Yeah, so I don't know why you would want air conditioner sound, but some people do, I guess, because how about toads?
Yeah, I do hear a lot of toads when I'm asleep.
Sounds. Crickets chirping.
Oh.
Now they should have a chihuahua purring.
Only Henry purrs.
And here's your thought. A change in season brings days of strong, heavy winds. I don't know why.
I can barely read that.
I don't know why that postcard showed up. So this has a really large collection of things. That's a hairdryer, including, and it's called White Noise, including white noise, brown noise, pink noise, blue noise, and violet noise. And the thing to understand about these different noises, it's different spectral frequencies, is that these are not to soothe you. These are to mask other sounds. So sometimes if there's an elevator near you in the hotel, or there's, some recurring sound, having one of these might be helpful. You can create your own recordings. There's even a market of white noises that you can download other noises. You can also mix. So I have some mixes here, like heavy rain with a little thunder rolled into it.
Just a nice little bit of thunder.
Or maybe the wind blowing and some chimes. So that's actually
lovely.
I like the frogs in the stream. So I've made some mixes. You can mix some stuff together. Here's one. If you grew up as I did in a city, I actually don't sleep well when it's too quiet. I like to think I'm in the city. So having that actual noise of a city behind me, it's a train, there's the city, there's the crowd, makes me happy. So this is, I think it's free with perhaps a premium version. Yeah. But I've used this also for ages. This has a sleep clock, timers, and alarm. So you can also, do those things you want. You can change the background audio, the sound balance. You can have it autoplay. So all you have to do is have your sound in there and launch the app, and it'll autoplay. You can Well, as you can see, it's got a lot of settings. This has been one of those programs that's been around for a very, very long time, and I think is a really nice app. It's simply called White Noise. There is a free limited version, and then there is a full version for a couple of bucks. Now, how do I make it stop? Oh,
Don't want to fall asleep during the show.
Oh, there you go. No, actually, it was making me anxious.
Oh, no, I'm anxious.
Anything else you'd like to talk about? We've calmed everybody down. Don't forget our sponsor. I want to give them a plug, calm.com, because that is a really great app for that.
Absolutely.
There are many meditation and relaxation and de-stressing apps, and honestly, I think it's a great idea to put a few on your iPad.
I used Calm on the drive here whenever I wasn't driving.
Yeah, don't use it while you're driving.
Not while you're driving. So the last one I'm going to mention, and I believe I mentioned it on this show before, is called Welltory. This app uses it's the spaces between your heart rate. And I wish I could remember what HRV.
Heart rate variability.
Heart rate variability. Yeah. So our bodies obviously are a complex system, and within our circulatory system is this kind of magical calculation that we can do called HRV. By determining our heart rate variability, it can give us some insight into how our brain and our heart are communicating and how that affects our body overall. And what we're starting to learn is that it is a good determiner for stress, for being tired, for all sorts of things. And so this app is for measuring your heart rate variability. And when you run these calculations, it can determine sort of how things might be a toll on you, what your current energy level is, and what your stress level is. And so you can kind of use that to inform, hey, should today be the day that I go and do my super intense workout, or should today be the day that I go and do yoga or go home and rest?
Yeah.
So that's Welltory. It does have an in-app purchase that you can make after you use the app for a little while. And depending on how important HRV becomes to you, it can end up being a really, nice price. But I think for some folks, it might be a little expensive. But the tie-ins with everything that it has are really handy. So that is Welltory, the HRV tracking app, with lots of data and research backed in this app to determine how you are, to help you figure out how you're feeling and how your heart rate is doing.
Yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about that Aura ring, is that was another thing it would do is heart rate variability.
I need this ring too. Oof.
You know what? We should get you one, because it's a little pricey. It was a few $100, but it was titanium, so it's very lightweight. I stopped wearing it to bed because I don't like to wear a ring at bed, but it will measure your temperature. You don't mind. It'll measure your temperature, your heart rate variability. It's very accurate, and it gave you all that information. So another plug for Aura, because I think
they're pretty too.
Yeah, they have a variety. They even have one with a diamond that's a little expensive.
Is that the one you're going to get me, Leo?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's our engagement ring. Look at that. Aura Smart Ring. I think these are really, really cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have the news, we have some questions, but right now we have some really good news from the folks at Aftershocks. Aftershocks, we've talked about before. Something else I'm supposed to get you.
One of these days.
Maybe I'll give you this pair. Aftershocks are some really great headphones that don't work like any other headphones you've ever seen. They don't go in your ear. They go in front of your ear using bone conductance. So they go right on your cheek, like that, and they use a patented bone conduction technology. There's a couple of reasons why you want to do that. Number one, the sound is amazing. Mm-hmm. The bass is incredible. It's very clear, but also because it doesn't block your ears. You don't use these on an airplane to block out sound. You use them when you're running or bicycling, because then you can hear the cars coming up behind you, emergency vehicles. You can hear what's going on. I wear them all the time in the house. Every time I'm on a phone conference call, because yes, it has a microphone as well. It'll pair with your phone. Then I can walk around. They're extraordinarily comfortable. They're not in my ear.
Right.
I can hear what's going on. When Lisa talks to me, I can respond to her. But I also can have conversations. In fact, I spent about 2 hours talking to my mom yesterday. And I, about half an hour in, I said, "Wait a minute, Mom. Let me go get that.
Yes.
This is going to be one of those. Let me go get the AfterShokz." These are fantastic headphones. I really love them. This is a titanium band, very lightweight. I like having a band because it makes these much harder to lose, and they don't fall out of your. They don't go in your ear, but they don't fall off your head. They rest gently right outside your ear. They send mini vibrations through your cheekbones to your inner ear, so they completely bypass your eardrum. In fact, they come with earplugs you could put in to prove it to yourself. In fact, the bass, when you put the earplugs in, it gets even better. Crystal clear phone calls and music like you've never heard before with AfterShokz. They're comfortable and they're safer if you're using them to run or exercise.
And I know you're wondering if they were tested with Beyonce, and I did run that test, and Beyonce sounds great on them. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. They have this premium pitch setting that guarantees a premium audio experience with wide dynamic range and rich bass. Wireless Bluetooth 4.1. They have multi-point pairing, so I've paired it to everything in my house, which is awesome. 6 hours of continuous music and calls on a single charge with 10-day standby time. They charge fast, too, just about an hour and a half to get another full day of aftershocking. Hassle-free 2-year warranty, too. Now, these are the AfterShokz that I'm wearing, but they have just added the new AeroPex. The AeroPex AfterShock is waterproof and submersible for up to 1 meter deep for 30 minutes. That means you can wear them swimming. This is fantastic. Advanced audio, a longer battery life, and we've got the AeroPex Tech Bundle for you. If you go to iostoday.aftershokz.com, use the code iostoday at checkout, you'll get $50 off the tech bundles. This is a great solution. They repel. I wear them working out all the time. I wear them on my spin bike, and I sweat pretty well into these. And they don't. They're water resistant, but now they have waterproof. I'm so excited. This is a great company making great products. iostoday.aftershokz.com. Use the code iostoday on the tech bundles, and you'll save $50 off. That's, I'm sorry to say, only valid in the U.S. That's iostoday.aftershokz.com. Even if you're not in the U.S., though, use that code iostoday. You won't get the $50 off, but we at least will get credit. They'll know that you saw it here on iOS Today. That helps the show. Thank you, AfterShokz, for making a great product. these are so cool. I admit, I was skeptical. I thought,
yeah,
no.
Because I remember those
How could that
Tunes
work?
toothbrushes.
Yeah, I thought Tooth Tunes.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, those were terrible.
This is not your grandpa's Tooth Tunes. AfterShokz. iostoday.aftershokz.com. Did you see this story? Sony is creating a wearable air conditioner.
Yeah, which actually...
You might have needed this in St. Joe, but you don't need it here.
I'm good here, but if I was still in Missouri, this would be my dream.
Yeah.
It's basically like a T-shirt kind of deal.
You have to have a special shirt with a pouch.
You strap it on, and you rather slide it in, and then you can... Oh, God, Leo. And then you can be cool and chill as you're going around. And apparently, from what I've heard, the folks who've talked about it, it does work quite well. I think I can see this for a lot of people walking
It's really,
around.
I don't know if you've been to Tokyo, but Tokyo in the summer can be muggy and really, really hot. And the way they're pitching this, they're actually selling it they have a crowdfunding site, Sony does, called First Flight. And so they're actually pitching this, in fact, it's in Japanese, to the Japanese audience. Because, if you're a salaryman, you got to wear that white shirt, black suit, and it can get mighty hot in Tokyo in the summertime. So I bet this will do really, really well. 69 million yen, but that's only about $5, I think. I don't know what that is.
Wait, hold on. $5 and carry the 27 cents.
Okay. 69 million yen sounds like a lot.
Yes.
A yen is about a penny, so it is actually a lot. They've raised, maybe that's how much they've raised. That's probably what it is. They've raised 69 million yen.
I think this is, it's so silly, but there are a lot of people who, if they're on stage and they get kind of sweaty, or you walk around, or dog walkers. There's so many different ways that
Let's
this
not
could be
forget
good.
the poor dog walkers.
The trials and tribulations of the dog walker.
I don't see a price here. Did you
think
see
it
a
was-
price for it? They've raised 69 million yen, which is a lot of money. That's like
$117.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, for a cool,
I would pay
relaxing
$120 for never having to have sweat.
So
anywhere.
I think it's fair. We have talked about how Google uses humans to improve Google Assistant, and those humans will hear your recordings. We've talked about Amazon and how Amazon sometimes uses contractors who hear your Amazon Echo recordings. So I think it would only be fair to point out that Apple's doing exactly the same thing. While they call it, Apple calls it grading Siri, humans have to listen. This came from a whistleblower. The Guardian had the story. This is Apple's response. They say only 1% of Siri activations are analyzed. 1% of millions is still a lot. A small portion of Siri requests are analyzed to improve Siri and dictation. User requests are not associated with the user's Apple ID. Siri's responses are analyzed in secure facilities. And all reviewers, by the way, that could just mean they have a lock on the door.
And also secure facilities, this is a thing that goes into your brain. It's not like they wipe your brain.
All reviewers are under the obligation to adhere to Apple's strict confidentiality requirements. And as I said, it's only about 1%. This is exactly the response that Google gave and Amazon gave. And I think the important thing to understand is if you're using a voice assistant, part of the process of making that voice assistant better, we want it to get better.
Exactly.
Is how is it going to know unless they have humans listen to it and see what it said? Amazon has a thing, and I bet you nobody uses this, where you can go through what you said and Amazon's responses and grade it. It's in the Echo app. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, but I'm a nerd.
We're nerds. We do it.
I do it.
But I bet you most
fun.
people don't.
Yeah.
And there is, as far as I know, I don't think Siri has a way to say, well, you got it wrong, Siri. In fact, I know it doesn't because I swear at Siri regularly. And all she says is, well, that's not nice. So.
Yeah, this is just one of those things where, like you said, you just have to keep in mind that no matter what system you're using, there's probably going to be this, and it's buried in the terms of
it
service.
says it somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's a possibility, but I kind of like the other companies how you can sort of go find those.
Yes,
those
that's true.
that
You can see what the recordings were on both Google and Amazon. You can listen to yourself, which is a shock.
It's like, oh no, that's how I sound.
At
when
times,
I
information
listen to...
collected by Apple will be treated in accordance with Apple's, which can be found. This includes your voice input, user data. Yeah, I mean, that's not completely clear. That some human is going to listen to what you're saying.
And the concern was that depending on the detail involved in the request that's being graded, it could be bad for them being able to take it and use that information. So it's not so much about it being graded in general. It's more about the idea that sometimes you're going to get these longer sentences that then could be used.
Here's the other issue.
Wrongly.
Yeah, de-anonymized. But here's the other issue. Like, hi, this is Leo, and I'd like to tell you something, Siri, and then they know it's me. But the other issue, which I think is a larger issue, and this is true for all three voice assistants, is false positives. And you know this. Siri will every once in a while wake up in my house and start babbling incoherently.
Yeah.
Because she thought she heard, hey, Shlomo.
Yeah.
So the problem with that is, and I haven't seen this asserted with the Apple system, but I'm sure it's the same problem that Google and Echo have. It isn't always stuff that you knew intentionally you were sending to Siri.
Yeah.
When we saw the Google story, it turned out contractors heard people making love, fighting. There was all sorts of things you hear that just happen to, I don't know about you, but when I'm in the arms of Amour, sometimes I go, hey, Siri!
Yeah. I was going to say ALEXA is my safe word.
So, okay, that's the first piece of advice. Change your safe word. It should not be Siri, Google, or ALEXA. I think you're right. I think that's probably true. I think that's the other thing, is that even if it didn't de-anonymize you, it's embarrassing.
Yes.
I don't want some stranger listening to my personal stuff.
I mean, if that is your thing, that's fine. We're not yucking your yum, just to be clear, but yeah.
I like that phrase. Is that what the kids are saying these days?
Well, it's older people, but don't yuck your yum.
Don't yuck your yum.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Are you going to the Pokemon GO Invitational?
No, I'm not. But I did see this. I thought it was fun. I wouldn't be surprised if Renee is there.
There is, this is what I didn't know, but Kevin probably knew it. There is a Pokemon World Championship, home of the most exciting highest stakes Pokemon battles. Can you tell I'm reading a press release? This year, Pokemon GO joins the fray with a special competition. Trainer battles will be on display in the Pokemon GO Invitational Friday, August 16th, immediately following the opening ceremonies. If you would like to watch the battles, they will be streaming these. I can't imagine anything more dull. I'm even bored by my own Pokemon battles.
I really want to watch this, though, because I think it'd be hilarious if you put up some, like, yakety sax music in the background.
Twitch.tv/Pokemon. 8 competitors will be battling for Pokemon GO glory.
I hope they have those inflatable Pikachus come. Have you ever seen that video where the one Pikachu gets tackled?
I was an inflatable Pikachu for Halloween last year.
That's right.
Do not mock the inflatable Pikachu.
No, I think it's lovely. It's so much fun.
Did you see the story that a 16-year-old won the Fortnite championship and won a pot of $3 million?
Holy moly. Was this in New York?
Yeah, parents saw it. You know why parents saw it? Because we went, oh, crap. Oh, no. You're never going to make a living playing video games. Mom, $3 million.
Where was the competition?
I don't know, and I don't care. I'm not spreading the news.
So my brother was there. My brother was.
Your brother? Is he a Fortnite?
I think he competed in the early things or something. I remember him trying to qualify.
As Engadget points out, this pot was larger. It was more money than Tiger Woods won when he won the Masters. But on the bright side, the 16-year-old didn't get a bright green jacket.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Can you imagine? And by the way, that wasn't the only massive pot. There are other kids won millions of dollars as well. This is the worst possible thing for parents everywhere. This kid won $3 million playing Fortnite.
And a really cool trophy.
$3 million.
Wow.
He'd only been, this is the worst part.
He's only 16.
He'd only been playing for about a year.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play Fortnite.
Oh, man. The 2019 iPhone Photography Awards.
Oh, thank God we're moving on. I'm feeling underwhelming.
Fortnite's fun. I love Fortnite, but there's no way I'd ever win any money at it because I get waxed in the first.
I love that you know that. I don't know that word. I've learned it from context clues, but
waxed means you go in the game. So it's a battle royale. You know this much, right?
Yeah.
There's 100 people go in. They fly in the bus, and you jump out of the bus and you land. And the idea is last man standing or person standing wins the game. Mm-hmm. I will get killed right away, like number one, like the first person, like first blood, Laporte. And that's it. It's over for me. But the reason this is a great game is because you can continue to watch as the person who killed you gets killed. And the person who killed that person gets killed all the way up to the end of the battle. So you can actually watch the entire match. It takes about half an hour. And it actually is very compelling. To me, this is going to make esports. And that's one reason you see a $3 million trophy.
Wow.
So the 2019 iPhone Award competition winners are out. Apple does this every year, shot on iPhone. This is the award winner, shot on an iPhone 10.
Yeah, not even the latest models.
In Zanzibar. It's called Big Sister, and I'm not going to read, it's too long, but there's a whole, Gabriella Siliano, who won the prize, tells the story of how she took this beautiful picture, and that is now she doesn't get a prize exactly. Apple will use these in their shot on iPhone ad campaigns. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we talked about this last year. There was some feeling among photographers. What, they just you enter the competition, they take the photo? No, they pay you the standard rate for using your photo.
Right.
So I don't know what that is, but she will certainly get some money. Here's another one. First place photographer of the year, Diogo Lage. It's called Sea Stripes from Portugal. I think the thing that I always enjoy about this is that it shows that you don't have to have a very expensive, fancy camera.
Exactly, to take a gorgeous photo.
Yeah. Second place photographer of the year, Yulia Ibraeva.
In Russia.
It's called Sorry, No Movie Today. It's an outdoor movie theater where it's pouring rain. That's in Rome. All over the world. Oh, that's got to be Burning Man, don't you think? Either that or the giant White Peach Festival.
In Nevada at the Burning Man Festival.
Yeah. That's Peng Hao, a Chinese photographer. Photograph of the year. So some beautiful photographs. The iPhone Award winners 2019 are out.
Gorgeous.
Let's take a break. We got some questions coming up in just a bit, but I have to say, I noticed how white Mikah's teeth are. And I'm a little older than you. I'm a year or two older than you. And I, years of coffee drinking, wine, cigarette smoking. No, I don't smoke, but cigar. I have had a cigar in my lifetime or two.
Gotcha.
Have yellowed my teeth. Fortunately, not beyond repair. I, too, could have teeth as white as Mikah with Crest and their 3D whitening kit. Now, I did go to the dentist some years ago and do it. It was quite expensive, and it was a pain in the butt. And I had to go back many, many times. This you can do in the comfort of your own home. It is the same, basically, the same treatment the dentist does. These are the Crest Whitestrips. It's hydrogen peroxide, but they make it really easy. I'll just open it up and show you because I'm going to do it right now. You'll put these on, and what I do is I watch an episode of The West Wing.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah. So you want to wear these for about an hour, okay? So you can watch an episode of your favorite TV drama. Here, I'll put it on right now. You can see how it goes on. It's very easy. Just adheres to your teeth like that. You can actually talk. I wouldn't eat while you're doing it.
Probably not.
But because you don't want to mix this hydrogen peroxide in with your food. But it's easy enough to watch TV. At the dentist, we use trays. I did a home thing that had a tray. That was a pain in the butt. These are very simple. They work really, really well. And this is the secret sauce, the blue light at the end. The dentist's office also started using this, but you don't have to make a trip to the dentist office, and it's a lot less expensive. After you wore it for your West Wing episode or your Game of Thrones episode, then you do the blue light. I'll turn it on. And that really enhances it. That gets it, and that just takes a couple of minutes. It's got a little timer on it. This is amazing. The blue LED targets stains, so the ingredients work faster than just white strips alone. 100% noticeably whiter teeth, and your money back if you're not satisfied, so there's no risk. I love these, and we're going to get you $20 off your first Crest 3D whitening strip kit by going to crestwhitesmile.com and entering the promo code iOS today at checkout. Everybody wants to be an Instagram influencer. Everybody wants to have their own podcast. Everybody wants to look like Mikah Sargent.
No.
Get the whitest teeth you can with Crest White Smiles. I love these, the 3D white strips from Crest. CrestWhitesmile.com. Promo code iOS today gets you $20 off your first Crest 3D whitening strip kit, which is a really great deal. Crest White's 3D white strips at CrestWhitesmile.com. Promo code iOS today. Thank you, Crest. Thank you. Thank you, Crest. We really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting them and supporting us by going to CrestWhitesmile.com. Some questions. Are you ready? Do you have your answers prepared?
Yes.
I do not.
Heart.
In your heart. Okay, your heart's good. Let's get it on your lips.
In my heart and on my lips. Yeah.
Hi, guys, writes
Mark from North Carolina.
Okay. I have an iPhone 6S with an iOS 13 Beta 3 running on it. Oh, this one's going to be for you because I'm just using the public beta. I regularly message friends, some of whom have Android phones. The GIFs I try to send them never seem to go through to these phones. This has been the case even when I was using previous versions of iOS. I try to look online for suggestions, but can't really find a solution. Thanks for any help you might have. Love the show. Keep up the great work. I have not had that problem.
I have had this problem not even just with Android friends, of which I have none. Kidding. Love you, Androiders.
You have one now, buddy.
I've just had this problem with iOS being able to sometimes I don't know if it's trying to save space or what it's doing, but it will take a GIF and it will sort of wipe out the animation properties of it.
Oh.
And I've noticed that happens. This is my suggestion. I've noticed that happens more often if I save the GIF to my photo library and then try to send it from there. However, if I choose to copy the GIF from wherever it is and paste it into my iMessage conversation, then it seems to keep the properties. So what my thought is, we've got HEIC.
I think that's what's going on.
Photos and things like that in
Apple has
iOS.
some unusual file formats.
File formats, and as they're trying to, depending on your settings, save space on your iPhone, it could be reformatting those and changing the file type, at which point then you're going to have the issue of being able to keep those animation frames. But if you copy and paste, it's essentially taking the file from its current place and pasting it in a new place in the exact same format. So when it comes to GIFs or GIFs, or as Rene Ritchie says, ifs, so that he doesn't have to partake as a Canadian, then you can send those, as the full thing. So that's my recommendation for getting them to show up on Android, is keeping them from iOS doing any sort of compression or anything like that on them.
I've noticed that the live motion photos you take on your iPhone sometimes will get sent as a video.
Yes,
but
and vice versa. I've gotten some from like Yasmin Evian. She took some photos of us and they were live, and when she sent them to me, they showed up as video.
Let me show you as an example. I'm going to text a little tiger message. Hello, Leo, from my iPhone. That's a memoji. Oh, God. How annoying is that? And I'm going to send this to my Android phone just to prove that we're not making this up. Now, this Android phone, let me see. Let me go here.
What is that? Samsung?
Oh, isn't this nice? This is the new OnePlus 7 Pro.
OnePlus.
You know what the funniest thing is? Let me take a selfie. Watch right here, because it doesn't have a notch or a hole punch. So watch the top of the phone when I put on the selfie cam.
Holy moly.
A little periscope goes up.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know how long
they
that's
break all the time.
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of a clever solution, because this way, of all the phones out there, this has the smallest bezels and no hole punches, no notches.
I kind of dig that.
It also has, okay, since we're talking, and then we'll get back to your
on
question in
iOS
just
today,
a second, Mark. It also has a through-the-screen fingerprint reader.
No.
And this is using an optical scanner that, watch how fast it is. It's really good. It's as fast as the iPhone fingerprint reader and is accurate. So I have a feeling that this is something Apple said we couldn't really do with the iPhone. And so they really Yeah, okay.
Keep going.
Just to make sure you know what this is the Android section.
This is the section.
No, but what I'm really doing, I'm sorry. What I'm really doing is to see what happened with that emoji. And as you can see, it because this is Android, it gave me a transcript. It gave me the audio as voicemail, and it gave me a video of the emoji. So it did go through. It went through in a weird way, but at least it did its best. When you do, on iPhone, when you long press something and let's see, I'll long press a text message and do love it or ha ha. Mm-hmm. That comes through in a textual form on Android saying Leo laughed, ha ha, something like that. So they are going through. My suggestion for you, Mark, if they're not going through for you, I guess our point here is that this probably isn't an iPhone issue. It's probably a carrier issue for your carrier. What it needs to use in this case is a technology called MMS. Mm-hmm. And it sounds to me like there's a problem with whoever you're using as your carrier getting those MMS messages from iOS and sending them appropriately to your Android users. Text messaging is a mess, as we know.
Yeah, it is.
It started with SMS. And that was a service that didn't use data. It rode on top of the voice service the carriers had. And initially, if you remember, if you had T-Mobile, it didn't work with Sprint. If you had Sprint, it didn't work with AT&T. And if it did, none of them talked to one another. It was only once these companies came up with gateways from systems to systems so that you could finally text your Verizon friend from your Sprint phone that this even became popular. But those gateways are wonky. They don't always work. Sometimes messages are delayed, held up, or don't even go through at all. But in almost every case, I don't think that's Apple. I think that's your carrier. Mm-hmm. The problem is with your carrier. And what Apple's doing with messages, I think, is pretty smart. In order to make it compatible with the existing SMS system, they will send SMS if they're sending to somebody who's on Android. But if they know that for instance, if I'm using my iPhone to communicate with Mikah, they know he's got an iPhone. It's marked as an iPhone in my contacts list. It will say, oh, no, we don't need to use SMS. We'll use data, and we can send it via messages via data. Mm-hmm. That's a much better way. And data, of course, eliminates this whole see, SMS was only, I forget the most important part, SMS was only text. it was only 150 characters of text, which is, by the way, why tweets were originally 140 characters. So it was only 150 characters of text. So if you wanted to send an image, you couldn't. That's why they created multimedia messages, MMS. Yeah, the multimedia messaging service. And that's another service tacked on to SMS. So Apple is basically trying to navigate its way through these competing standards. They use data. They prefer data, which is, of course, just like sending, WhatsApp or an email. It'll send whatever you want, and it sends it fast and efficiently. It doesn't use up, text messages. They'll use it if they can, but if they're communicating with an Android service, Android phone, they can't. So then they have to look at the message and say, well, what do we need to send SMS? We need to send MMS. Generally, they'll send them through MMS, but it sounds to me like there's a gateway issue. I would call your carrier and say, hey, guys, I'm having trouble getting my animated GIFs to go through. What's going on?
Yeah.
And they'll give you some Fakatka excuse.
They'll come up with something.
Some lie. Jim Sprinkle, we have 2 phones, says Jim, a 6S and a 6S Plus, as well as 2 first-generation iPad Pros. There are 2 separate phone numbers, but when my wife's sister calls her to do a FaceTime call, my phone or iPad rings and not my wife's. Email addresses and phone numbers are all listed in settings at FaceTime on my iPad Pro. The caller ID for FaceTime is my number. We figure there's something we have to do within settings to separate her calls from mine. What is it? Well, problem number 1, I bet you're sharing Apple accounts.
That's one of my thoughts.
That's problem number 1. In fact, I know you are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting her calls. So FaceTime can use the phone number, but will almost always prefer to use the Apple account as a way to figure out, well, which device should I ring? And what it's doing is looking at the Apple account. It sees your iPad and says, yeah, let's ring him. It doesn't know you from your wife. So the very first thing you should do, and I know this is so tempting, everybody does it. Everybody in the family should have your own Apple account. It's easy to set up. Apple's made this so it works now because of family sharing. I think the reason people shared accounts is you wanted to share your music and your apps and so forth, but family sharing allows you to do that now. So you don't need that. You don't need to have the same account, and you really shouldn't. I learned this when my son went to college, and he was on my Apple ID, and I started getting all his texts from his frat friends.
Oh, no.
He didn't like that. I didn't like that.
No one liked that.
And I immediately said, Henry, make your own Apple ID. This is a problem. So every user, even the kids, should have their own Apple ID.
Agreed, hands down. Yeah.
That way, text messages don't get crossed, FaceTime messages don't get crossed. And then the other thing to do, of course, and you've already done this, is look at the contact settings for FaceTime and make sure that the proper Apple ID is in this. For your wife, her new Apple ID is in there. Her phone number is in there. That's really important. FaceTime is very squirrely.
We had the problem where we were just trying to FaceTime back and forth to show a feature, and we tried 6 different numbers and all the other stuff.
It's crazy.
It is squirrely. The other thing that I want to mention here, just to make sure that you've got this set up, is there are in settings in phone. So you launch the settings app, you go into phone, and there's a feature called Wi-Fi calling. And depending on your carrier, you might have this set up to do Wi-Fi calling. And if you have that enabled and you've had it set up with a different phone number before, those kinds of things, that can sometimes cause some issues, because I had an old device that was actually given to a family member. And despite doing a full system wipe and everything, there were times where my calls were still going through to that iPad. And so my grandma was going, why am I getting these calls? Should I be answering these? What do I need to do? Yeah. So make sure that you have that Wi-Fi calling feature, switch it off. And then if you want to use it, go ahead and switch it back on again, but sort of unpair those processes and kind of give it a restart.
Apple does have a page you can go to remove a phone number from messages, and maybe that would help as well.
Deregister
it, yeah. If you Google Apple deregister phone number, you should be able to find that pretty quickly. But also, this is a universal problem, and it happens all the time with all of us. And I don't know exactly how we can clean this up. It's just kind of, it's grown like Topsy, and it's gotten to be a mess. This last question, I don't know the answer to, but maybe you do. Actually, I'm asking the same question. It's from Greg in St. Paul, Minnesota. He says, any word when Photoshop is coming to the iPad Pro?
Yeah.
Adobe announced that they were making a Photoshop for the iPad Pro.
In October, they said that they would be bringing a full Photoshop to the iPad in 2019.
That's this year.
Yes, that is this year. As of May, people who were Creative Cloud users were able to sign up for the beta of iPad for Photoshop for iPad. Here's the problem. I am a Creative Cloud user, and I didn't get an email back in May.
I didn't either.
And I'm very frustrated about it.
Yeah.
Because I would love to be part of that beta. So I don't know what I did wrong, Adobe, but hit me up because I need to talk to you.
I think there are better choices, frankly, for the iPad.
There are. That's the thing.
I think Affinity is very, very good.
Affinity's great. Pixelmator continues to offer more features.
I use Pixelmator Photo. If what you want to do is edit photos, I don't know if this is still $5. This was $5 for a long time because it just came out. This is absolutely the best editor. Lisa and I were out, as you know, on vacation, and she got a great picture of a kid on a swing. But there were some other people in the picture. She said, I don't know, am I going to crop this to get them out of the picture because I just want to focus on this? I said, Pixelmator Photo. They have a great tool. I've shown it before where you can erase stuff. It works better than Photoshop. It works better than Lightroom. I think that frankly, the set of tools available on the iPad now mean that Adobe is playing catch up. And I'm not waiting for Adobe, to be honest with you.
And we don't have to. Yeah, I use Pixelmator Photo all the time on my iPad, even just for the machine learning features that it has built in, where I can kind of, if I don't know exactly how to make a photo look really good, I hit that button and then I go from there to sort of make adjustments. And I always end up being very happy with the photo.
The one compelling argument that Adobe offers is if you are a Creative Cloud user, if you use Lightroom on the iPad, it will automatically sync to the cloud and sync to your Lightroom on your desktop. So for some photographers anyway, that's a really sensible workflow. But I don't think you really need. I think Affinity and there are so many great tools that do everything Photoshop. I think everything Photoshop does.
Yeah, and I think the other compelling reason for it is just the simple fact that if you use one app, one service within Adobe and you want to keep using them around, you know what I mean? The sort of...
I guess. I can't wait to stop paying Adobe whatever it is a month.
It is expensive.
It's
yeah.
crazy. And I don't feel like they care. You did see there was a rumor that Apple is looking at buying Adobe. I don't credit that rumor. I don't think that Apple will do that, but that might change everything. All right, put on your hat. I was on Safari last week, and I decided there was nothing I needed more than a pith helmet.
Have very similar hats.
That's good. That's a good hat. That's a useful hat.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to extend the offer to you that you may go into my collection at any time and choose a hat of your choice.
This is a very special hat. This is actually my partner's hat. And so I'm wearing this kind of in honor of him today. I said, "Can I wear this?"
Did he die?
Does it count? Does going back to Missouri count?
He's going back to Missouri. That counts.
He's there now. Yeah. So I said I wanted to wear his hat today. So that's this one.
When did he leave?
He left on Sunday afternoon.
Is he driving back?
No. I flew him back. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
But
we should say
he'll be here later.
He's coming out later.
Yeah.
He has a contract to complete, and once he's completed, does he mind moving out here?
No.
This was a big deal.
Absolutely.
Telling Mikah, we'd like you to move to California from Missouri.
When I first heard that, when Lisa said that, I said, "Oh,
that's a big life change, right?"
Yeah.
And he didn't know he'd have to wear a pith helmet.
That's true. I didn't know that.
Now that you do, maybe you'll go.
I got to go home.
Had you only lived in Missouri your whole life?
No, California, North Carolina,
you have lived
Missouri.
Yeah. All right, so it wasn't such a...
Yeah, it wasn't super shock or anything like that.
Okay, good. Well, we're thrilled to have you. It's
and I'm happy to be here.
Such a great addition. And by the way, there is one more addition to our family.
Oh, so exciting.
Because Megan left, it took two people to replace her. So we have one more addition to our family, which we will announce in a couple of weeks. And I'm very excited about that as well. Secret. Meanwhile, why, Mikah, do we wear these silly hats?
We wear these silly hats to honor our app caps.
Yay! Our picks of the week, the best apps of the whole week. What do you have for me today?
Today, I have an app that saved me on the 26-hour drive from Missouri to California. This app is called Pyro. And it's actually called Serato.
Did you set fires along the way?
I set fire to the rain, Leo. It's called Serato Pyro. and it is one of my favorite apps
I'm not familiar with this.
for music listening, because what you do is you can connect your Spotify or your Apple Music library to the app, and then you choose a playlist or you add some songs. You could just hit the little plus button to add some different songs that you want. And then when you're done, you tap, let me see, you tap right. Oh, that's right. You don't tap, you swipe. You swipe right below the song that's playing and you hit mix up. And what it does is it determines what song will be the best song to play after the current one.
It does like a DJ does. It matches beats and segues.
At the end of the song, it transfers into the next song. So you get an unending playlist of music.
Now, does this only make sense if you have multiple music accounts, or
no? If you can use Spotify or you can use Apple Music, you can use whatever music.
Oh, so it's not about mixing the accounts together.
No.
Oh, I see. It's about mixing the music.
Mixing the music, yeah. So I like to just go into Spotify, for example, and choose a playlist that I might have, and then I hit that little refresh button, and it determines like, okay, these tempos are going to go great right next to each other. These ones will go great right next to each other. And then I hit play, and at the end of the song, or sometimes it's like halfway between the song, it will see. I don't want to play this because I feel like Beyonce will come after us for playing her music.
No, you can play it. This is for educational.
Okay,
purposes.
so let me see if I can.
So this was when I was a young man in radio. This is what you were trying to get really good at, was segues. You would really spend some time thinking about what, especially in album radio, which I was in, what song goes well into which song, and you try to match the beats. And it was hard because with Hey Jude, you'd have to count the na 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 na's. How many times? And I can't remember. There's 21 times. You'd be counting that because this is going to be the last one, and you hit the button for the next one, and you want to time those segues perfectly. If this does as good a job, a lot of DJs are going to go, oh, man.
So that's the thing. This app has existed for a long time, and it has kind of...
I'm installing it right
let's
now.
see. Okay, we're going to...
I love look at this.
We're about to come to the transition.
Now, this is, by the way, very hard song to segue from. Songs that change tempo like that and so forth, very hard to segue from. Was that the segue?
That was, yeah. That
was very good. I didn't even notice.
One song to
I didn't even
countdown.
know.
There you go.
So I love this, the little Pyro logo. Look at that.
It's kind of artistic.
So you say, it says start a fire. Now, do I have to have Spotify?
So see, it says Pyro found no playable music in your current library.
Yeah.
So
it says I have to join Spotify?
No. So here's the thing that because I was weirded out by the fact, try that. Try found it.
Oh, because it wants me to, maybe I don't have any music on here. It's
and it
possible.
didn't originally it didn't give me the choice to add my Apple Music library, but when I went back to it today, then it prompted that finally.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why it took a second, but once it did, then it was able to find my Apple Music library. So it looks like you do have music.
Well, let me see though, and by the way, anything that's better than iTunes for playing Apple Music. There's somewhere it says where I've got...
Oh, scroll down a little bit. I think it's at the bottom. Oh, you don't have it.
Yeah, it is.
Choose edit.
Choose edit?
Yeah, you're looking for...
I want to figure out to show the stuff that's downloaded. Thank you. And not anything that's not downloaded. So this will... And maybe it'll all go away. Downloaded music. No, this is all on here. So I don't know why I couldn't find that.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it's not downloaded. Okay. So if I have music on my device, it will then use that music.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it can pair with your music library for Apple, or it can use Spotify. But once you get those connected, then you add whatever music you want.
And it'll do the segues
And
for
it will do the segues for you. And two,
that sounds great.
It will also help recommend music that you should add to the playlist.
Right.
To kind of keep going with what you're wanting. So it's really fun. And because I've gone on two really long journeys, there was one where it's 14 hours. The other one was this 26-hour drive. I wanted to have something that was going to give me like a continuous stream that sounded good.
Yeah.
So I've used a lot of the different apps, and this one, for what you get, it's awesome. Otherwise, you're going to end up spending like $50 or more for something like Algorithms DJ, which is another good app for doing this.
Okay.
But costs a lot more and also involves some more manual work.
I'm really
This is
intrigued
set it
by
and forget it.
by the algorithm that they might be using to do this, because this was, there's a certain art in putting this
absolutely.
together. Serato Pyro. And there are in-app purchases, but you can download and use it for free. My app is something that is from a company well known in gaming. In fact, their indie game for the PlayStation, Journey, was one of the examples of why indie games can be the best kinds of games. They have a new game called Sky. It's called That Game Company is the company that makes this. And what I like about their games is they're not shooters. They're beautiful. This is Seasons, and by the way, the music in it is also beautiful. Season of Gratitude. There are 6 seasonal spirits, one for each land, to find in the Season of Gratitude. Seek them out. It's my understanding that they intend this to be an online game, but it's one of those games where you want to put on headphones, really listen to it. It's a great game to relax to. There are, as you can see, there's no explanation of what to do here.
This reminds me of that one game that we played during the Apple Awards.
Yeah, this is very much like that. Yeah.
I like the movement stuff, the way that it has you move the character.
So I am. These are the spirits. This is my ghost, I think. I can't remember.
Looks a lot like you.
And then I can go into here, Isle of Dawn. Let me follow the bell and find your way to the temple. Now, if you play Journey,
this has Legend of Zelda vibes.
Yeah. If you play Journey, you'll recognize the movement here, because there's a lot of sand sliding. You also can fly.
What?
But you have to get flying juice to do it. You have to work your way up to flying. I like it because, as you notice, I can touch any part of the screen.
Oh, I like that.
So
if you do have the big iPad, you don't have to do it on the character.
I really like games that use the iPad's interface. Okay.
Wow.
And this is quite a mystery. So it says 1 of 1. So I'm not sure now what is going on here.
Are you on fire? That's Pyro joined to the app?
That Pyro maybe it's going to play some music. I don't know. No, I think that means I can fly. I have some flight juice. See, you can also skate on the sand. So I don't want to go too far into this because I don't want to spoil it for you. This is the first level.
I bet there's a genie in this cave.
There might be. You run into characters, you get new attributes. But it is not a game where there's no time limit. There's no stress. Except for the stress of what's going on?
Where am I?
But it's a really.
It does feel very zen, though.
It's very zen.
It's appropriate for our episode today.
This is long awaited. These guys have been they're quite well known in their stuff, and this just came out for the iPad last week, and I was thrilled because I've really loved their games. Journey is a really incredible adventure. This feels very much like Journey. It's kind of almost the Journey the Next Generation, I guess, if you played Journey.
There's nothing attacking you or anything. I like
There's
that.
no shooting, no attacking, no dying, just exploration and magic. There's a lot of magic in it.
I love magic.
So
Leo.
I think you're gonna like it. It's a very sweet game. Yeah, see, something's going on here. I lit this up before, so this is a spoiler. I shouldn't show you. Don't look.
Don't look. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
You didn't see it. You have to discover this stuff. Press and hold anywhere to consume energy and rise. Shall we fly?
Rise. I like that they call it rise instead of fly.
But you can't do it forever. It's just more. You fly kind of like an ostrich, for brief, or turkey. Brief. But don't you love this? This was the mechanics of Journey too.
I like it. Yeah.
Anyway, Sky, recommend it. I don't want to show you too much because I don't want to spoil it. Embark on an unforgettable. Now I note they say social adventure, so I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if it means it has to be online. I don't think it does. I think the social is all inside the game. And I'm in a desert area, but as you can see, there are a variety of other areas as well.
I'll have to check this one out.
Yeah, very soothing. If you're looking for a game,
at that
now you need to really be able to fly to do that. Better save up that flight juice.
There's some sharks for Shark Week.
There are other people in it.
Maybe that's what they mean by social.
Make friends, yeah. But not not real people.
Don't fly too close to the sun.
Don't want those wings to melt. Micah
You
Sargent,
got
this
that
has been so much fun. We look forward to many, many more episodes with you.
Yes.
On iOS today, we do the show 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. That would be about 1700 UTC. Here on Tuesdays, you can watch us do it or listen to us do it at twit.tv/live. If you do that, join us in the chat room
Please
at
do.
irc.twit.tv. Chat room's always a lot of fun. Great place to be, and it's family friendly. We have wonderful moderators who keep it safe and a friendly place to be. If you want to download it, we also encourage that because, well, it's a podcast. So on-demand versions of the show are available at the website, twit.tv/iOS. Or the best thing to do, subscribe in your favorite podcast application. That way you'll get it the minute it's available. There's audio and video. This is such a visual show, I think. If you have the time, it's great to be able to watch it.
You got to see our app caps.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even describe yours.
It's so his family has a lake house and they do a lot of fishing.
It's a lake hat.
So it's a lake
fishing
hat with a fisherman's hat, I guess.
This is a Lawrence of Arabia pith helmet.
You actually tackled a rhino wearing that hat, didn't
I
you?
actually got it from the rhino. I took the rhino down and took his hat.
You said, "Let me have that, please."
It's nice. I always wanted a pith helmet. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you want to ask a question, we love those. Email iOS. That's the name of the show, right? iOS Today. That's the name of the show. iOS Today at twit.tv. iOS Today at twit.tv. And if you want to record an audio question or a video question, we would love that. Keep it short, under 30 seconds. Start with your first name and city. We always like to get you on the show if we can. So
We
audio
did.
and video is welcome.
I want to shout out, we did get a video. We ran into some technical issues on their side, but there are people out there sending us in videos. So
Thank
join
you.
them. Please do. We would
Awesome.
love to have that.
And we'll see you next time on iOS Today. Bye-bye.
Is this where we throw our hats?
This is where we throw the hats, but don't throw Luke's hat. Just wave
see.
it.